While some might consider this a gaming creepypasta, the tale of Rap Rat is more unique than others because it is actually based on a board game and not an electronic. The entire pasta centers around an unpopular board game made by the company A Couple of Cowboys, a corporation that had better success in the past selling horror-based games that came packaged with VHS tapes in order to play them. The story begins with a young boy recalling his childhood. When he was young, he remembers the board game Nightmare, which also came with a VHS tape in order to play it, via the characters in the tape giving the players interacting with the board instructions on what to do. He was too scared to play it, so instead his mother bought Rap Rat, made by the same company, for both of her children. As normal stories would go, most young kids would have no interest playing the game because the character Rap Rat had a freakish appearance. It was an overly cartoony depiction of a rat, with huge ears, large soulless fish-like eyes, bulging white teeth, a swollen mouth, and long whiskers. The character would show up from time to time, make jokes, and rap to the kids, telling them to hurry up with their turns as they moved their pieces on the board. Whoever got to the end first would win. But this kid went through an experience more so than any other person who saw the rat. When the two attempted to start the game, as soon as the Rap Rat appeared, the boy's younger brother instantly ran out crying, while he begged his mother to turn off the television. Then Rap Rat did the unthinkable and told the boy, "Wait your turn," in a low-pitched demonic voice, clearly not the normal nasal voice the character had. The narrator in the back could also be heard in the background saying, "He's Rap Rat, and he's the boss," constantly. The video then got extremely disturbing, showing imagery including a man about to leap from a balcony, a hornet slowly stinging someone's eye, tarantulas, a pit full of cobras, and bloody syringes filled with green liquids. They all came in quick succession, along with images of the rat's expressionless eyes. The boy followed his little brother soon after and ran out of the room crying. The mother then got rid of the board game and VHS tape, and after the kid was convinced it was gone forever, he had nightmares about Rap Rat all week. The years passed and the boy grew up into a young adult near the present day. As the now grown man cleans out his room in order to move in with his girlfriend, he discovers Rap Rat still in his closet, covered in dust but still intact. He shows the game to his girlfriend and tells her the story. She believes him, and the two decide to revisit the horrid video. After borrowing a VHS player, they find that the imagery is even worse. The couple witness a clown squirting blood from its nose, a woman alone in a dark room, and a man being forced to pick up hot metal while having the skin on his hand turn into a leathery mess. The odd scratching the man recalls from his childhood returns, then Rap Rat is seen again, only this time, the character is now made with real fur and is twisting and writhing with its limbs being thrown in all sorts of directions. The face is now made of bristles and thorns. The fish eyes pop out and stare at the couple, and the rodent points at the girlfriend. Scratching on the front door and their floors is heard, and the television cuts to static. They instantly turn the television off, eject the tape, unplug the VHS, and look out the window only to find nothing there. The police arrive at the neighborhood soon after, as it is revealed the couple's neighbors saw some sort of figure walking past their windows. The man and his partner don't bother trying to explain the story to the authorities and just tell the cops it was them. Enraged, the man carries the strangely hot VHS tape out of the house and onto the sidewalk where he destroys it. The following nights, he and his partner suffer from bad nightmares. The freaky imagery appears in both of their dreams. The two wake up at midnight, and they can still hear the scratching, especially whenever one of them gets near the front door. They also discover that whenever they say the words Rap Rat, they would sense and hear some sort of entity scurrying and carrying something across the floor. Determined to sue the company who made the game for damages, he contacts his mother to hear where she got the game. She is unable to answer the question, but he is able to contact a merchant who sells various copies of Rap Rat. The merchant replies to an email the boy sends by telling him that the company, A Couple of Cowboys, made the game. Doing some research, he finds out that the company went defunct in 1994, just 2 years after Rap Rat was released. Then, behind the story, he finds another darker and flat-out sadistic tale. The urban legend the man discovers is that a couple of cowboys commissioned a workshop in Haiti to create the characters seen in the game. The sweatshop's working conditions were very poor, and the women and men were forced to create the puppet. One day, a young girl suffered an accident thanks to a fault in an industrial sewing machine, which resulted in her death. After the funeral, the girl's mother came to the factory and demanded to see the owner. Higher management in the workshop refused to see her, and thus the woman claimed to have put a curse on the doll, stating she had summoned a fear demon. Yelling at the top of her lungs, she screamed, "Apparat will curse you." The owners of the shop simply laughed it off and, as a joke, changed the character's name to Rap Rat, which was an anagram of the demonic Haitian entity. Each time the name is said, the curse gets more and more intense to those who say it. As the puppet neared completion, workers began to grow hysterical and paranoid. Grim suicides resulted from this apparent curse that had infected the workplace, and some even slashed and burned themselves to death, writing the words, "I am fear," on the nearest surface with their own blood. 2 years later, the company went defunct and the owners were hired by Mattel. Nobody really knows what happened to the original puppet after it was made and used. It is said the original owners met an untimely demise, as the blank fish eyes of Rap Rat were the last things they saw. As the man closes off his story, he tells everybody that even after he has destroyed the VHS tape, the same Rap Rat cassette is somehow still in his drawer. He fears for his safety, as he claims the curse is not going away anytime soon, and that when he is home alone, he can hear and sense him, as the character holds some sort of strange power. So, to avoid being cursed by the Rap Rat, he lists 3 warnings for everybody who reads his story. Never say a parrot out loud. Saying a demon's name out loud is an invitation to them, a calling, if you will. If you have already done this, it cannot be undone. Do not try to speak to or contact a parrot. Avoid being awake between 3:30 a.m. and 4 a.m. when Rap Rat is the most likely to scare you. As he ends his story, the man states that most people have been seeing the normal video with the normal Rap Rat. Rap Rat can indeed be normal, but once it's fooled you into thinking so, it will stalk you, day and night.